Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Rista Olymvia dengan NIM L1A119144 dari ruang 001 Prodi Kehutanan, Fakultas Pertanian, Universitas Jambi. So, hello people. In this video, I want to discuss a bit about nursery, atau kita akan membahas mengenai pembibitan pada video ini. So, as we know, plant is a living creature. They breathe, same like us. They need food. Even they produce their own food, and that's why they call heterotrophs, because they can produce their own food. Besides that, the plant can do a propagation. So, on plant, there are two types of propagation. The first one is generative propagation, or sexually, and the second one is vegetative propagation. So, what is the next steps? What's the purpose of this propagation? So, same like us, they are living creature. Their propagation is needs to maintain their population, their generation, to avoid from extinction. Okay, so we have five topics to discuss about nursery. So the first one is, what is nursery? Apa itu pembibitan? Second is a type or kind of nursery, atau macam pembibitan. The third one is the steps of the nursery, atau langkah-langkah dalam pembibitan. The third is materials and equipment, atau bahan dan peralatan yang akan digunakan dalam pembibitan. And the last one is the operational, atau operasional dari pembibitan itu sendiri. Okay, we're on to the first topics. What is nursery? Okay, so apa itu pembibitan? So, the nursery is one of the ways to multiply the plant, sexually or vegetatively. So we're talking about industrial forests. So at industrial forest, this tree nursery, it means we're talking about location that is specially designed for produce the tree seeds that will grow in a good condition until the seeds ready to plant on the production area. Jadi dalam pembibitan itu sendiri, itu merupakan salah satu upaya untuk memperbanyak tanaman, baik secara seksual atau generatif maupun secara vegetatif. Nah, dalam memperbanyak tanaman ini juga mempunyai tujuan, the purpose. So the purpose of the nursery, especially for industrial forests, is for fulfill the demand of the needs for the seeds. Because can you imagine how wide is the area? Because I know that in 1 year they need over 1,200 million of seeds. It's just for 1 year. Can you imagine how can we produce, or how can plant produce their own without our help? I'm sure it will take a really long time, and we're not using paper or tissue for now, and I'm sure for that. Okay, so we into the second topic. It's about variety or kinds of nursery, macam-macam pembibitan. Jadi macam pembibitan itu dibagi dua, based on their purposes for short term and long term. Yep, I think you have guessed it. We have a temporary nursery and permanently nursery. So what is temporary nursery? So temporary nursery, it used for short term because they only took 1 to 3 years. They're choosing the area, they build the facilities and everything they need temporary, because this is not for a long term like industrial forest. So everything they need, they produce, they're doing it, location is temporary. And different with this one, it's a permanent nursery. So for the permanent nursery, it's usually they use a wide area for the nursery location or at the production area, because they use this location for a long term. So they build their facilities, their infrastructure in a permanent way. This is not took 1, 10 or maybe 20 years. It will more than 20 years. Yeah, it's for a long term. So this permanent nursery, it's usually located in wide area. Why? Because they produce a lot of seeds, because they have a really wide area to plant. It because of it's for to fulfill the demand on the industrial forests, and that's why they need a permanent location, permanent building, that permanent facilities, infrastructure, so they can work in there for a long time. Next, on to the third topics. It's about the steps of the nursery. So this is few steps you have to do. So the first one is the location, the chosen of the location. This is really important. Not all the location is suitable for growth of these seeds, because seeds is really crucial part. It's crucial time. They really need a healthy and nice place to grow. So we have some criteria or some factors that maybe you have to consider before you choose the location. So the first one is security is a top priority. Of course, they want the location is really safe. It's far from the destruction, from the flood maybe, or from the animals like cow or maybe chicken. So you don't want it, right? Your seeds was eaten by them, and that's why you have to choose the location. It's far from that distraction. The second one is strategic, mudah dijangkau. So it means easy come, easy go. The places have to easy to reach, harus mudah dijangkau karena itu akan mempermudah transportasi atau pengangkutan, baik untuk pengangkutan bahan dari luar ke dalam lokasi pembibitan atau pengangkutan bibit yang akan dibawa keluar lokasi untuk ditanam. The third one is near the plant location. Yep, the seeds, it cannot be too far from the place they were planted, because it can cause the seeds stress. And if the seeds stress before plant, it will influence the growth of your plant. Oke, selanjutnya ada tingkat kesuburan yang baik. Fertile soil. Yep, fertile soil is really important because the fertile soil, it means it contains many nutrients or other minerals that plant needs, right? So if you use the soil not in good condition, it will influence the growth of the seeds. And the last one is near the water source. Yep, every plant, even every living creature needs water. Next, we have a land clearing atau pembukaan lahan. So clearing the land, it means we clear the lands that we want to use for the location of the nursery. So the land clearing, it can be used with two ways. The first one is manually. If you have a not too wide area or for a small scale, you can use a manual. You can clear the land manually, like this for example. But if you want to open really wide area, like from industrial forest, you really need more than manually ways. So you have to clear in the area mechanically. The second one is in every land you're clearing, it means we clear all the trees, all the bushes, and of course, not all the trees were not needed. So if you find out that has a tree, it's not to interrupt the location, I think I suggest you not to cut it, because some of them will really useful for you for protection, maybe for shelter, untuk naungan, for the seeds. Okay, next we have for the facilities and infrastructure built. As you know, this nursery is not just for plant. They need place to stay and they need the other infrastructure to support. So the first one is a road facilities. So this road is built is for to make a transport more easier to do. In and out, it will really to make easier for the transport, such as if you want to transport the seeds from the nursery location to the plant location. So you need a good road to bring all of your seeds to the place safely. And the second, we have a equipment warehouse atau gudang peralatan. So this warehouse is specially built is for keep your old equipment or your material things, except plant or soil. It means you keep all the equipment, the material things you need in this warehouse. The third one is a plant media storage warehouse. In this warehouse, or maybe you can say silo, it will keep all like a soil, maybe fertilizer, in one safe place. It's separated with equipment warehouse. Yang keempat, kita ada badan tabur. So this place is needs. If your seeds has a smaller size on the nursery, so this is the good place to keep it. Oke, selanjutnya kita ada sarana bedeng sapi. Or this place is used to put the seeds from the seedling. And next we have a watering installation. So this can be made as really simple ways using drum, because it can fill really lots of water. Okay, next is the drainage atau saluran pembuangan air. And the last one is fence atau pagar. So this fence is built to protect your location to avoid the distraction to your seeds. Okay, so this is the example of the sketch for the nursery location in a small scale. Everything we discussed is in there, but in small scale. Okay, go ahead to number 4. We have a material and equipment. This is what we need to plant seeds. Jadi yang pertama adalah media tabur. So this is the physical structure that's very crucial atau sangat penting yang dibutuhkan bibit untuk berkecambah maupun pada awal penanaman, khususnya untuk benih-benih yang berukuran kecil atau halus. Lalu yang kedua ada media sapi. So the soil is the main media it used to in a seedling, because besides it's cheap, really easy to gut in a large amount. We usually use topsoil karena topsoil atau tanah bagian atas itu tanah yang banyak mengandung bahan organik, which is the plants really needs that organic material. Dan yang ketiga, kita ada wadah semai or sealing container. So the main function of this container adalah untuk mewadahi or just to place all the growth media. It has a role for water, air, and nutrients supply to the plant roots because the plant roots need all the material, the nutrients in the soil. So it will keep the plant or the roots whole and give a physical support for the seeds in the seedling. This is the example of the seedling container. Jadi ini adalah contoh dari wadah semai. We have three types. So the first one it calls pot tray. Dia berbentuk seperti nampan atau tray dengan wadah-wadah kecil. It usually do to plant a little seeds. Biasanya digunakan untuk menanam benih ukuran kecil. Lalu yang kedua, second one, we have a polytube. Polytube ini sedikit mirip dengan pot tray, tapi dengan wadah yang sedikit lebih besar dan bulat. And the last one, we have a polybag. We usually use polybag to plant our seeds. And I'm sure this is not sound strange in your ears. The next one we have a shelter atau naungan. So this shelter is a function to decrease the temperature, to slow the evaporation and transpiration. So it will decrease the amount of water loss on the media or on the seeds. Karena biasanya pada masa awal tanam, bibit tidak membutuhkan banyak sinar matahari. Jadi naungan ini sangat dibutuhkan untuk mencegah banyaknya penguapan sehingga tumbuhan atau bibit ini akan cepat kering dan mati. Next we have fertilizer and drugs. Jadi selain dari pupuk organik seperti pupuk kompos, pupuk kandang, we have to prepare the chemical fertilizer because we don't know what will happen next. Maybe someday there will emerge situation your plant was attacked by ants and you need drugs and you need more support from the chemical fertilizer. Just prepare and put it in your warehouse. Okay, 6 we have equipment. So you cannot use your own hand, just these both of hands to plant all this seedling. You need some equipment. For example, it's like a fork, not fork that you use to eat. This is a different fork. We have a shovel, we have a hoe, we have a polybag, we have a chart atau gerobak yang biasanya kita gunakan untuk membantu memindahkan tanah dari penyimpanan media tanam ke dalam lokasi penanaman bibit. Or maybe you can use it to transport the seeds to the pickup car so they can bring out your seeds to the plant location. Okay, we're into the last part of our discussion. It's about the nursery's operational atau operasional dari pembibitan. So this is basically the first or the steps really from the beginning until it's done and it bring out to your plant location. So this is what you need. Jadi yang pertama adalah pemilihan jenis. In this part, you really have to think about the use and the benefits from the plants that you will choose. For example, if you need plants for your industrial forest, you have to choose the tree or the plant, the type of plant it has economic value. Or you can choose another plan for restoration. It will adjust the environment or what the environment needs. Okay. So the second is their ability to adaptation with the environment. Not all the plants can survive in all locations. They have their own match between the plants and the land. So you really have to consider about your need. You cannot choose the plant just because it has a really high economic value, but it doesn't match or suitable for your land. You cannot force it because it cannot grow because it can't grow in your land. And that's why they have two types of plants. The first one is a local plants group, and the second one is the exotic plant group. All of the plants types has their own environment needs, so please choose wisely. Lalu yang kedua yang kita butuhkan adalah pengadaan benih atau penyediaan benih. The seeds, it can come from the seeds garden. The seeds garden is a place, it's specially designed or specially built to provide the seeds, or maybe you can still get your seeds from the seed stands. Next, we have the harvester of seeds. So the seed, it must be harvested when the seed is physiologically mature. Cannot be too young or too old. So I suggest you to not pick up the seeds that has fallen to the ground, because we don't know how long the seeds been there, and maybe they're attacked by the pests or the insects. Keempat, kita ada penanganan benih. Okay, so the extraction is what we do to take out the seeds from the fruits or the other parts of the fruits. We usually, before extractions, usually the fruits put in the sun for 3 to 5 days. So when the fruits are dried, we can extract the seeds. The next, we have the seed storage and behavior, atau penyimpanan dan perlakuan benih. So the seeds, it must save first, because there has a difference of the availability of seeds time and the seedling time, so it has to keep first. Some of these variety of seeds, they need special treatment to correct their dormancy time, atau mereka diberikan perlakuan khusus untuk memecahkan masa dormansi mereka, sehingga biji itu akan bangun dari masa istirahatnya. Langkah-langkah yang bisa kita lakukan adalah skarifikasi dan juga perendaman. Masuk yang keenam, kita ada penaburan benih. Jadi penaburan benih ini bertujuan untuk mendapatkan atau memperoleh kecambah atau sprouts yang baik dan sehat. Because we need a really good quality of sprouts, not in the bad qualities. Kedua adalah cara penaburan. Jadi cara penaburan ini berbeda. Depends on the size of the seeds. You can't just throw out all of your seeds like you feed fish on the pool. That's not a good ways. Trust me. Last one, kita punya penyapihan biji dan media tanam. Jadi penyapihan sendiri adalah proses pemindahan dari bedengan tabur atau dari bak penampungan pot tray tadi. So it transfer from the pot tray to the poly bag. Jadi memindahkan cambah yang ada dalam pot tray tadi ke dalam polybag atau ke dalam wadah yang lebih besar. And the plant media for these seeds or the space is depends on the materials it has in the field, atau bergantung pada bahan yang ada di lapangan. So it will adjust your environment. Thank you for watching my video and I hope it helps you. And I'm so sorry if I keep making mistakes. Terima kasih sudah menonton. Mohon maaf bila ada kekurangan. Saya akhiri, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.